Hello YouTube, Mike Tendo here. 3,000 subscribers, Q&A answers. I put this out, oh man, it must have been close to a month ago. And, you know, I was busy all throughout the month providing you guys a ton of content. We did the Castlevania stream, we did the Balljacks review, the Rusty review, you know, for Halloween. So just like a ton of stuff came out. And Pixel Toons had a panel. I mean, just go back for the past month and take a look at all the stuff that we've done, because I've been busy. So, I wanted to take a minute to sit down. It's morning time, my hair's messy, I got my coffee, I'm ready to answer some questions. I'm going to go in alphabetical order because that's the way I have it arranged. So, let's go ahead. Alright, so our first question comes to us from CIA Rises, and they say, great work on getting 3,000 subs. Still think it's way too low for what the channel should be at, but I digress. Thank you. As for a question, would you and Ed consider doing a Pixel Toons podcast spotlighting awful video game music? For example, the options menu for Sonic Spinball. I guess the issue with that is that the episode would be unpleasant to listen to for 2 hours. So maybe a smaller spin-off episode, just a suggestion. Thank you for the question. I don't know if he and I have sat down and talked about doing like a worst video game music episode. I'm almost positive we may or may not have talked about, I had this really cool idea to bring our significant others on the show and have them pick out, like, you know, 6 each, so 12 of the worst video game songs that either they've heard us play or anything like that. But you know, because my wife doesn't really, she's not a big fan of video game music at all. So but I think Ed's wife is a little more okay with it. Like, she'll listen to some of it, or she enjoys some of it. But yeah, I always thought that would be a really funny idea. Actually, I was thinking about doing it for like a Valentine's Day thing. That'd be pretty funny, but it never materialized, and I doubt it will. But Console Wars says, congrats, man. If you could only listen to one video game soundtrack the rest of your life, which would it be? Ooh, that's tough. I'm gonna go Mega Man 3. Honestly, just because it is my favorite game of all time. I really can't get sick of that game, and I really dig the soundtrack, you know, to it. So I'm gonna say Mega Man 3. Dan from Console Wars and I have bonded over Mega Man 3 when we met at Too Many Games. It was pretty funny. So, thanks guys for the question. Crown of Wallachia, which is Retro Shred's band. Still criminally undersubbed, but you're on your way, my friend. Thank you. If you had to physically complete any Castlevania level in real life, which one would you choose? Oh man, that's tough. I'm going to say the caves. Because the caves, I don't know, I would imagine I would have that sweet music in my head. So Super Castlevania 4, the cave level when you're going underground, I think that would be pretty cool. I also kind of feel like the difficulty level would be something that I'd probably be able to do. Like, I wouldn't do like the level where you're whipping from chandelier to chandelier. I would totally die on that level, like in real life. So, but the caves I feel like I could explore and go through. Dan Greenberg asks, he says, congrats on the milestone, well deserved, thank you. Question, do you think that the move to streaming / esports / group interactive gaming puts game music at risk of lower priority or increases its chances for expanding an audience? That's a really good question, thanks Dan, which I kind of expected Dan, if he was going to ask a question, it would be something really good like this. I kind of feel like video game music has taken a back seat when it comes to multiplayer games or AAA titles. It's there, it's not memorable. Like, name me a single tune off of, I don't know, Assassin's Creed. You know, like hum it for me. Hum any song from, I don't know, BioShock or something like that. I don't know. To me, video game music with strong melody always wins out. So I'm not saying that there aren't AAA titles that don't have that type of music, but I do feel that it will take a backseat. When it comes to esports and like multiplayer type stuff like that, music is not part of the experience really. Like nobody's listening, nobody's going and playing games like Overwatch or StarCraft or any of that type of stuff. Nobody's playing that stuff for the music. If it does happen to have good music, cool. But I do feel that it's taking a back seat. And, you know, the gaming audience is just getting bigger and bigger. It's expanding more and more every day. So, you know, I do kind of feel like it's not only taking a back seat, but it's also, like, instead of highlighting some of the music in, like, a commercial, instead they throw in, like, what are those, like, super annoying, like they'll put like 70s music, you know, like a Rolling Stones song or something like that, which, you know, a lot of movie trailers are doing too now. It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy's fault a little bit for doing that. So now like every movie has to do it, unfortunately. So it's kind of the same with gaming. There, you know, the trailers that come out on these AAA titles, they're not advertising things like the music. The music's kind of taking a back seat. So it's unfortunate, but, you know, I think that the indie game scene is really striving to make games with great music, and I think companies like Nintendo as well, like, you know, they are still putting a large focus on putting in music that's very memorable, very catchy, and, you know, music that you're going to want to go back to, you know, later on. So, not saying it's all AAA developers, but, you know, it definitely has taken a back seat over the years. ERB Wars asks, what is your favorite gaming memory with a friend? I'm gonna say, ooh, that's tough. I have a lot, but Smash Brothers in my dorm when I was in college, that's pretty memorable. We used to kind of keep our door open and people would just come in and we'd be playing like Smash Brothers or Marvel vs. Capcom on Dreamcast. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on Dreamcast, like those types of games. And we would get people come in and they would play with us or whatever, or they'd just watch. Like, that was always really cool. I'd probably say most memorable, though, for gaming with a friend would probably be in high school. I had a couple friends that I would hang out with, you know, almost every day. And we would play stuff like WWF Attitude. We'd play like Gauntlet Legends, Perfect Dark, Smash Brothers, like the original Smash Brothers. Like the N64 was like my party machine as far as that goes. So like I would have people over and we would hang out. We would play N64. So it was really cool. Yeah, Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini, just stuff like that. So that was always really fun. Eric Young, hey dude, congrats. How did you get started with Pixel Toons? We just talked about this on the 100th episode that we put out, which I believe will be out on a Wednesday. So if it's not already out, it will be out this coming Wednesday. We got started with Pixel Toons because I had always wanted to do a video game music podcast, and Ed, who at the time, probably about 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, we had just started hanging out. And he kind of approached me and was like, "Hey, do you want to do this project?" And he discussed it with me, and he mentioned that the Legacy Music Hour, which was like kind of the granddaddy of all video game music podcasts, and they had taken a hiatus at the time, or at the time they had quit. And there were some other video game music podcasts, but you know, we were kind of like the second wave, I guess you could say, of VGM podcasts. So we sat down one day. He came over, and this is in my old apartment, and he came over and we kind of sifted through, tried to figure out, you know, the name and, you know, what we were going to do and the format and everything. So that's kind of how it went. That was 4 years ago, I believe. Yeah, something like that. Crazy. Time flies. iRetro Gamer, congrats, man. If you could travel back in time and buy one game you don't own that's considered rare today, what would it be? Ooh. Little Samson. Yeah, Little Samson. I don't own it. I would like to own it one day. I'm not paying $1,000 for it, or 800 or 900 or anything close to that. I don't know. I kind of tap out after maybe $200. I can't really justify paying any more than that. So will I ever own it? Probably not. If I do, it'll probably be a repro. But until then, I've got a flash cart on the NES. So if I ever wanted to sit down and play it, I could. Plus, you know, emulators, which, but, you know. Thank you for the question, though. Sunshine 999. Congratulations, Mike. Will you ever sing in a video again like you did with your Little Mermaid tribute? I love this question. Just because I don't know. I don't think I'm a particularly good singer, but it's cool that somebody remembered that Little Mermaid video that I did way back when. I had a few ideas for singing, which I'll run by because I don't know if it'll ever happen. The first was I wanted to do an Aladdin comparison review, kind of, but I think Console Wars already did that. But yeah, I was thinking something related to Disney. So another Disney related movie, Aladdin, or something like that, where I would like change the lyrics to fit the scenario or whatever. Similar to what I did in Little Mermaid. So I've thought about it. Haven't been able to do it yet. There's another thing that I really, really, really want to do. But it's a huge production. And I don't know how much I would scale it back. But I really want to do like a musical episode with Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, where I would play Link. I would dress up just like Link and everything, go out, and I would, I would have somebody would have to score this with me. Like, I would need somebody like a musician or something like that, like sit down and score it all out. And, I would provide lyrics and we would go over how it would, this would be a huge, huge, huge project. And I've really wanted to do it for years. Never really found anybody that would be able to do it, with me, who would actually be willing to sit down and do I've worked with tons of remixers and cover song people over the years, and I feel like it's too much to ask somebody to do, so I would never really approach it like that. But it's something that I've always wanted to do, do a review of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, but make it different, make it something that's unique and something that nobody else has done. So maybe kind of detailing out, I'm talking tons of visual effects, this is a magnum opus sort of thing that I would love, love, love to do, but the budget is not there at all. The budget's not there, and there's just, I don't really have too many. I have some actor friends who could probably help, and Brian's been great about helping out with acting and stuff like that. So there's a possibility that it could happen, but I don't think it ever will. But that's pretty much my answer to your question. Jana Honning Music, sorry if I mispronounced that, said, congratulations to 3,000 subs. May there come many more. I only have one question. Will we ever get to see more of Drag Queen Tendo? I actually get asked this a lot. Like a lot. And I don't know how to feel about it, because on one level it's kind of cool that people found something that they dig, in the sense that they think it's a cool concept, or it was something that was fun, oh, you dressed up like a chick, that's pretty funny, or whatever. But at the same time, it's it's also kind of creepy that so many people thought it was cool that I dressed up like a woman. I have to thank Ariel for her makeup on that, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just gonna slap some makeup on, and she actually sat down and did my makeup, and it came out pretty good, I thought. I mean, my wife disagreed. She thought I looked hideous, but I had a lot of fun doing that episode for Haunting Ground, the review. I thought about, for this latest review that I did, Rusty, an idea that I had was I was going to have Brian dress up like a female Dracula, but there isn't a female Dracula in the game. Like, before I started playing Rusty, I thought that the villain was like a female Dracula, and she wasn't, but because it was Marquis de Monte Carlo. So yeah, that was going to be a really funny thing. But no, I don't necessarily, I'm not going to say never, but I would need a good reason. Like, it would need to be part of the story. It would need to make sense. I'm not just going to ham-fist it in. Like, oh, yep, dressing up in drag again, you know, so. But, yeah, there's everyone's burning answer to that question, so thank you. Kevin Radigan writes, congratulations, Mike. I have some questions. What is your first gaming memory? That would be the NES Super Mario Brothers. Very first one. What was your first moment? What was the first moment when you realized you loved video games? Yeah, I'm going to say Mario. Yeah. What are your top 5 non-Mega Man Castlevania Metroid games? Ooh, that's tough. Top 5 non-Mega Man Castlevania Metroid games. Zelda, Link to the Past. Mario World. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. Final Fight for the Super NES. And I don't know, Final Fantasy VII, I guess. Chrono Trigger, maybe. Were there any games that you tried desperately to beat as a kid but never could? Ooh, this is a good topic. I always had trouble with some certain platformers, but I've beaten them since, like Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Crusaders, Astion X. You know, games that I played when I was a kid that I eventually later on beat. So yeah. Mr. Dude 206 writes, congrats, yo, Motorboat Kasumi or Tifa? Tifa. Yeah, come on. You know me. Tifa. Mrs. Fuzzy McWaffles asks, how long have you and your girlfriend been together? Actually, she's my wife. So she's been my wife for a year. A little over a year. We've been together for 8 years. Yeah, long time. Nefarious West asks, you're on a desert island and are allowed 5 music albums that you can listen to. Which 5 are with you? Iron Maiden's Somewhere in Time. Bruce Dickinson's Accident of Birth. Return to Forever, Romantic Warrior. Opeth, My Arms Your Hearse. Cradle of Filth, Cruelty and the Beast. I don't know, just 5 random albums that are like some of my favorite albums of all time. Thanks. Nintendo, can I come over and pet your puppy? Harley is a big fan of belly rubs, so almost every single person that comes in the door is required to give him belly rubs. So, yeah. Yes, I'm so happy for you, man. I've been watching your channel for a few years now. Years, which is crazy to think about. 3,000 subs is sweet, well earned. My question relates to my favorite part of your videos. How do you come up with such great skits? I'm always busting out laughing watching your stuff. What's your secret? And yes, I totally want to copy your incredible technique. Sorry. I don't know. I just write what I find funny. And I try not to focus on what other people will find funny. And I kind of let the audience find me. So if you guys like the skits, then you like my type of humor, I guess. And that's it. I don't know. I always start with a skit when I write. When it comes to, dude, you haven't played this game. Always write a skit first. You know, I come up with a concept in my head. And then I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome. I'm going to do that. And then I do it. Scotty M3381 writes, congrats, only found your channel about a year ago, but I was instantly hooked. How did you coordinate all the live action for Dude You Haven't Played This Game? Nice work again. how do I coordinate all the live action? So I kind of have an idea in my head of how I want to film it. So generally, if I'm doing close-up shots, if I have two characters that I'm filming, if I do close-up shots, like for example the Rusty review that I just put out, any shot that was just me, I would shoot those in, all together, and then I would reconfigure the camera and shoot. When I shot Brian, I shot just him. Any shots that I kind of have like an idea in my head when I write of how I want each shot to go directing wise. So that's kind of how it works when it comes to live action. You want to do the hardest stuff first. For example, the haunting ground stuff that I did actually did the easiest stuff first when it comes to me not wearing any makeup or drag or whatever in the haunting ground review. So all the stuff that I did were like in the beginning and the end of the review, I filmed all that at once. And then when I got dressed, I filmed all that at once as well. So that's kind of what you have to do. You can't bounce back and forth. I also sometimes try to write reviews or direct reviews so that I like filming in, like, from starting with the first page. Sometimes I'll skip around, but I typically start with the first page and go until the end. So I skip through, I write LA for live action, that way I know, or voice action, like VA. That's how I write my scripts. So I don't know. One of these days I'll do like a behind the scenes video. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe I'll do that like after episode 100 or something like that. Tenarian writes, that's 3 of my town's population, boobs or butts? Boobs. Tayuya Demon writes, oh, okay, sorry. Okay, what's your favorite game on the Super Nintendo? Favorite game on the Super Nintendo? Ooh, Super Castlevania 4, probably. Can't tell you how many times I've beaten that game. Completionist, onwards and upwards to the 5,000 sub mark. What do you consider your best game with regards to your own personal skill? I don't know, Mega Man 3. Ninja Gaiden 2 I can kind of blow through now pretty quick. That one I can run through pretty quick. What game gave you the most frustration as a kid or an adult? Oh man, as an adult, X2 Wolverine's Revenge on the GameCube. I remember trying to beat that game and I was in near tears trying to beat it. Specifically like the Magneto fight towards the end. Oh my god, it was so difficult. What was the one cartoon you tried your hardest at to never miss an episode when you were a kid? I remember when they made a Mega Man cartoon and I was like so pumped. I was like, I can't miss an episode. That was one that I really tried to not miss. Yeah, that I'm gonna say off the top of my head, Mega Man. What is the best meal your parents cooked for you when you were younger and you still look forward to having it to this day? I don't know. That's tough. I don't really eat dinner in with my family. I mean, my parents are separated, so I never see my dad. He's in upstate New York, and my mom actually lives pretty close to me, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I'm sorry. Good question, though. Yoshi, Super Saiyan 2. Hey, Mike Tendo, congrats on 3,000 subs. I found this channel about a year ago. Really enjoy your content. Think it was your game reviews that got me really interested. Here's my question. What's your most favorite retro game console of all time? Nintendo. Yeah, definitely my Nintendo. Also, what got you into making a game review channel or inspired? I had seen... he used to be called Happy Video Game Nerd, but Derek Alexander did a panel at MagFest about content creation, video editing, that sort of thing. And I wrote for years and years and years. I have a journalism degree. I'm a writer, and I've been writing game reviews since high school. And originally I wanted to work for Nintendo Power. That was my goal when I was a kid. But never did, of course, never happened. Though, you know, I mean, at this point, I thought to myself, you know, I was writing for like RetroCollect.com, and I was writing for a couple other like retro websites for gaming. And after that panel, it got me interested in doing a video game review show. And the first year was like a nightmare. Like, it was just, the videos weren't great. So, you know, if you go back and watch the earlier stuff, I really didn't know what I wanted the show to be. But, you know, after the first year, I'd say things really started picking up. And I've often wanted to go back and remake certain episodes or get rid of those episodes and, you know, make new ones. In particular, the Astyanax review, because the lighting is just awful in that review. I just didn't know what I was doing when it comes to camera work and everything. Good question. Your pal Sal writes, congrats on the growth, dude. Not sure if this is truly channel focused question. I guess more of a community one, but what sort of content do you think is lacking in the retro community? If you have an answer for this, do you think you'd be willing to create videos to fill the void? Oh, look, I turned this around into a relevant question. What sort of content do I think is lacking in the retro community? You know, there's not a lot of focus on stuff like strategy guides, which I think, you know, are kind of like a lost art because of game facts nowadays. So maybe something with that, with strategy guides. I have a lot of strategy guides, like a lot. I kind of collect them. So yeah, I'm gonna say strategy guides. I think it'd be cool to see the community like do something with that. But yeah, I'd be interested in making something about strategy guides. And that's it. Those are all the questions. So I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day to ask a question. It was really cool. And yeah, I'm gonna go watch some Stranger Things. So later.